Welcome back, everyone, to FTN here at the College Basketball Betting Show. I'm Mike Randle. Follow me on Twitter at Randle Rant. And folks, we are hitting Thanksgiving. We are hitting feast week here for college basketball. So we're going to bring you a packed show today. Ton of picks today. We have 12 overall. Then we will come back again on Saturday because, of course, so much action here across the sports landscape, and we have you covered at FTN for all of it. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Join us as a subscriber. We're going to have a lot of free opportunities here to try out our site, which would be fantastic. We have World Cup covered. We have NFL, Thanksgiving, fantasy, FTN bets, FTN daily, just so much great stuff. And of course, college hoops, which is why we're here today. So folks, as always, hit the like, subscribe button, follow us here at FTN. We have fantastic content with a great team. Frank Brank up early in the morning, 8 a.m. in the Discord, giving you the plays. Mike Crucci with his free props, his prop bet of the day, which are scalding hot. Mike is well over almost 40 units here early on here on the props for college basketball. We are going to skip a lot of the intros that we normally do because we have a ton of picks for you today. Saturday, little rough on Saturday, little bit of a give back to the scalding hot start that we've had, but so far we're doing fantastic. Still up 13 units, almost 20 games above 500 here on our picks, and we're going to keep it going today. So without further ado, we're going to get into it right away. A lot of picks for you today, 12 overall. Let's get into it. To the first one right away, Creighton -2.5 versus Texas Tech. That's going to be our first game. We are in Maui for the Maui Gym Invitational. It's 2:30 p.m. today. We are going to go with the Blue Jays, and we're laying that small number. The biggest difference between these two teams is turnovers. Creighton, Ryan Nembhard, Trey Alexander, solid backcourt, only 1.5 turnovers per game. Now, listen, the Blue Jays have not faced the greatest competition. I understand that, but I don't think Texas Tech has either. Creighton, St. Thomas, North Dakota, Holy Cross, UC Riverside, and they struggled with three-pointers in that first game, but have gotten hot ever since. Texas Tech, Northwestern State, Texas Southern, Louisiana Tech, and they have not played for over a week. Going to be a little rusty here going out to Maui Gym. Red Raiders will not have one of their key players, of course, Fordars Amok, the 6'11 senior, joined Texas Tech from Utah Valley after posting 18-10 last year. The Mark Adams defense is going to have to slow this Creighton attack. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. You have 7'1" Ryan Kalkbrenner on the interior. They're going to be able to shoot it from the outside. Texas Tech has been able to make do without IMAC, with Daniel Baccio, who's 6'11", and Kevin O'Banner as well, came over from Oral Roberts. He's been fantastic. No IMAC here. I think it's an issue. Creighton, 32 of 80, 40% from three. Last three games, they have struggled in that preseason opener, in that season opener. But after that, they have done very, very well. First game here, I'm going to lay 2.5 with Creighton. You can get that at FanDuel. I think the Blue Jays, a Final Four team that many backed in the preseason, starting to find their groove from the outside. Kalkbrenner inside is going to be an issue. Texas Tech cannot get into foul trouble. That could happen here as well. Next game, we're going to Arkansas and Louisville, and we have talked about them over and over again. Folks, I don't understand why on earth you're going to back Louisville until they show you that they can cover. They lost that scrimmage to Lenoir-Rhyne and have been brutal ever since. Lost to Bellarmine, lost to Wright State, lost to Appalachian State as well at home. They're favored by 7.5 in that game. I think Vegas still thinking Louisville is that elite program, which they are not. Now we have Arkansas, no Nick Smith here. That Herald of Freshman has not played yet, but I think they have enough. Louisville has a weak backcourt, just L. Ellis in the backcourt, which is going to be a problem against the turnover machine, which is Arkansas. 20-point win coming here for Arkansas. I like their options. Ricky Council's come over from Wichita State. He's been lighting it up, almost 19 points per game. They're going to rebound. They're going to push. Musselman doing a fantastic job with Arkansas. I cannot see a way that Louisville keeps this within 10. So I know the line was 14 last night. It's now up to 15. I am going to lay it here. I'm going to go with Arkansas laying the big number as well. Next game up, we're going to the Bronx. Now, one of our losses on Saturday looked great at halftime, and then everything, the floodgates opened up. But I learned a lot about Illinois-Chicago in that game. Next game, we're going to Stonehill, +5.5 versus Illinois-Chicago. That game is in the Bronx. Stonehill has a prolific offense. They love to run and gun. They shoot threes. They're 38% from three. They make their free throws 82%. What I did not like about Illinois-Chicago is they want to run as well, and that was causing a problem for Fordham early on. Could not make their shots, but when Illinois-Chicago got into foul trouble, that was one of the easiest live lines I hit on Saturday. Fordham turned it around ended up covering, moving forward after giving up 40 points in the first half to Illinois Chicago. I do not think the way you're beating Stonehill is by running. I don't think Illinois Chicago has the horses. This is a Stonehill team that beat Army away by 5. They played Providence and hung 76 on Providence in the dunk. And Providence scored 100 in that game, but I don't think Illinois Chicago has the type of offense. I think they have to lock down on defense. I don't think they can do it with Stonehill. They did it with Quisenberry and Fordham for a half, but then they got into foul trouble. Stonehill also played Connecticut early on. They struggled there, but Quinnipiac, they've played some tough teams. Illinois Chicago now, second game here. They're going to be in the Bronx. They played Fordham. Now they're going against Stonehill here in the same gym. I like Stonehill to run them off the court. I think Stonehill's going to do a nice job. Couple scores, 3 guys in double figures like to shoot the 3, and I am fine with that. Next up, one of my favorite games, folks, that we've had, and I'm going with it. And I don't know exactly where this line came from, but I like it down in the Cayman Islands. We are going with Tulane minus 3.5 versus Nevada. I am shocked by this line. Tulane is a sleeper team right now, number 2 overall in minutes continuity coming into this year. Ron Hunter with a tremendous returning team. They have 3 players that are returning last year that were all AAC players: Jalen Forbes, Kevin Cross, and of course, Jalen Cook. Now, the big one on this particular matchup is that Jalen Cook did not play the first 2 games. He had a hamstring injury. He missed it with the flu. And now he was back last game. And last year, Cook, 18 points per game, 39% from three-point range, and put over 20 points per game in the last game that he played. Nevada is fine. They're solid. Alford, I get it. Tulane is a sleeper team. This line is too long. Nevada is never going to be able to guard Forbes and Cross and Cook. And this line is almost reflective, everyone, of Jalen Cook not playing. This team is dangerous. They get up after you. They're going to pressure the ball. They have a million ways they can score. We are going here with Tulane minus 3.5 against Nevada. Next game, number 5 here on the slate. A ton of great games for you. Duquesne versus North Florida. Duquesne line has gone a different direction. It has dropped, and I am all over it because I'm fine with it dropping. Keith Dambro is a tremendous coach for Duquesne. I think people forgot about how good a coach he was. They were 6-24 last year. They were 1-16 in the A10, just a brutal year. And the last few years for Duquesne have been very rough. They had construction on their home court, so they were playing all their games away. Then they come back. They have the COVID year. Last year, they had injuries. Dambro really has his team playing defense. And what I like about Duquesne is they have a style, much like mini Houston, like the Cougars. We hit last night there on the FTN site, Houston laying 6.5 at Oregon. You cannot prepare for the type of relentless defense and rebounding that Duquesne is going to bring you. That's Dambro's style. He's a blue-collar guy, and you can't prepare for that. And I don't think North Florida is going to be ready. A lot of these teams, you're playing them against the spread and they're profitable. But when you play a team with a unique style that you're not ready for, everybody likes to run and gun. Everybody likes to shoot threes, secondary break. But a Duquesne at home, 3-1 against the spread. The only team Duquesne did not cover against this year is Kentucky. I am going to go with Duquesne laying 9.5 here against North Florida as my next game. Moving on. Next one coming up here. St. Joe's and Georgia. You know that I'm fading Georgia, and I'm going to continue to fade Georgia. I am not a Mike White guy, and this is not a Mike White-friendly show. Georgia 0-4 against the spread, and the way this line is going is last night it was St. Joe's plus 4.5. Now it's down to St. Joe's plus 2.5. Why? I think it's a sign that Kario Akindo, the all-SEC guard, is not going to play. He was scratched right before the Bulldogs game at home against Bucknell. They're home. They're playing Bucknell. They squeak it out 65-61. No cover, of course, because they're 0-4 against the spread. St. Joe's can shoot the 3. Eric Reynolds has been scalding hot for St. Joe's, 32 against Albany. Very limited on offense for Georgia, especially if Akindo doesn't play. They don't look great. St. Joe's 2-1 on the season. They did play Houston, so they played a physical type of team, which Georgia is not even in the same realm as Houston. They have Cameron Brown. They have Ejike Obinna. Eric Reynolds, of course, 3 guys who can score. Obinna's transfer from Vanderbilt and done a nice job for them as well. I like St. Joe's here covering. I'm going to continue to fade Georgia. I will fade them all the way. This is sort of a theme here. There are teams like Michigan, North Carolina. They covered against JMU, but they were scalding hot from 3 on Saturday, and JMU came back in that game. So the teams that I'm locked in on that I'm fading, I've really done a nice job with early and gotten some wins. So let's keep it going there with St. Joe's and Georgia. Next game up, High Point and Central Michigan. High Point's 2-0 against the spread this year. They're coached by Gigi Smith. That's Tubby's son. Tubby had some issues with COVID, of course, so Gigi Smith has taken over. They have two players here that I think are a difference maker against Central Michigan. Zach Austin, 6'5", super athletic forward. He was the Big South Freshman of the Year last year, but he has even taken a backseat to Jaden House. Had major foul trouble against UNLV. That's why High Point did not beat UNLV, but they did cover, only lost by 10. They were getting 12 in that game. High Point shoots a three. They're shooting over 43% from three-point range. Central Michigan's metrics are abysmal. You look at them, they're not great on defense. They're not great on offense. They turn the ball over a ton. High Point, best players on the court, like to shoot threes. Only a 4-point spread here. I am fine with that. High Point on the neutral court with Central Michigan, but we are going to lay those points. Next game, let's keep it going here. Marquette versus Mississippi State. This game is in Fort Myers. It's the Rocket Mortgage tip-off. I've had about enough of Mississippi State. Mississippi State, Chris Jans has come over from Mexico State. Excellent coach. Brought in some transfers. They're 4-0, and they're 4-0 against the spread of Mississippi State. But I am done with them. I think a little regression is coming. They beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi. They beat Akron on a neutral, but Arkansas Pine Bluff and South Dakota. Now they are playing their first road game, and they're going against Marquette. They are going to let you shoot the three. And the main weapon for Mississippi State is the big man inside Tulu Smith, 6'11". Marquette, Shaka Smart, their defense, they are not intimidated. They are going to rebound. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to look to run. And that's going to limit Tulu Smith a little bit. Marquette getting points in this game. It's on neutral court. Marquette getting 3 points. No way. I think it's a coin flip game. And whenever you have a coin flip game, I'm always going to take the points. I like this Marquette team. I like what they stand for. Mississippi State has done a very nice job, and they've been off to a fantastic start. But I think there's going to be some regression here. I really like what Marquette is doing. I think they're going to be able to shoot threes. I think they're going to be able to defend. I think they're going to limit Tulu Smith inside with their pressure and their defense. They're going to turn you over. They don't turn the ball over a lot themselves, and they are super efficient from inside the arc. Tulu Smith may have a big game, but I like Marquette to keep this close, and I'm fine with those points there. So give me Marquette with the 3 points against Mississippi State down in Fort Myers. I have no idea why Bellarmine would be getting 24 points against Duke. Absolutely no idea, and I'm going with it. You know my thoughts on Duke. They played Kansas. They lost by 5. They played Delaware at home with a big cover. I get it, but Bellarmine is for real. They have a disciplined offense under Scott Davenport. They pass the ball an excessive amount of times. They are impossible to guard. They have played Clemson away. They've played Moorhead away. They won against Louisville. Bellarmine will keep this game close. This is way too many points here. Duke lines are always inflated because the public is going to be on Duke. They have great freshmen. They have great talent, but this is a disciplined Bellarmine team. They guard you inside the arc. Duke would have to be scalding hot from 3, but they don't turn the ball over. They make their free throws, disciplined with Scott Davenport. There was even a little back and forth between Musselman and Scott Davenport, where Musselman from Arkansas said, I don't want any part of playing Bellarmine, because he was looking at tape for the Louisville game today, and they were talking about setting up a matchup. I think there's a lot of respect for Bellarmine here, but not with Vegas and not here with the betting public. So we are going with Bellarmine plus 24 here against Duke for our next game. Moving on, a couple more here. Folks, just like I've been fading Louisville, I am going to continue to end up fading Florida State. I have no idea why we would be laying points. Now, I got this last night, 5.5. It's actually gone up to 7.5 here. Mercer, a team that likes to shoot the 3, that is very dangerous, playing a Florida State team that has just been abysmal this year. They have no Baba Miller, which has really hurt their depth. Mercer is coming in. They've played Winthrop at home. They won that game. They won on the road against a good Georgia State team that barely lost that game. And Florida State has been horrific this year. They lost at home to Stetson. They lost away to UCF. They lost at home to Troy. Troy led that game pretty much from start to finish. And then outside their first half against rival Florida, they were abysmal. The second half against Florida, they lost that game by 9. They were outscored 33-7 in the first 10 minutes. Florida State has given me nothing in the first 4 games. And the best part about this line, folks, it's up to 7.5. I am going to take the points with Mercer. 7.5, proudly taking the 7.5 against the Florida State team that is yet to get things going. 3 left for you here. Here we go. First one, Ohio State and San Diego State. Why would we be laying this many points? It was 3.5 last night. It's now 4.5. We are not at the point where San Diego State has looked absolutely unstoppable here. I get that they bring the defense with Brian Dutcher, but so does Ohio State with Chris Holtmann. San Diego State laying now 4.5 against Ohio State. This game is on a neutral court, of course. Ohio State is going to play defense inside. They are going to bang with them. They're going to rebound. You have Isaac Likely, who came over from Oklahoma State, who's sort of a Swiss Army knife player. You have Sean McNeil, who can shoot the 3. You have Zed Key inside, 6'8", 255 pounds. Justin Suing. This is a solid Ohio State team. And again, this is another situation that, to me, it's a coin flip game. They are playing a very good San Diego State team that just won on the road at Stanford. Darian Trammell is the real deal scorer. Lamont Butler. Matt Bradley has not gotten going yet, and Nathan Mensah inside. But I think he sort of limits. You see Key there in the great graphic from our guy Fox. He limits Nathan Mensah to a certain extent. I like the matchup. This is not an incredibly deep team for San Diego State. Ohio State is every bit their equal, can battle, can rebound under Chris Holtmann. So we are grabbing the 4 points here with Ohio State in this matchup against San Diego State. And the last one, got last game here, Temple against St. John's. Temple against St. John's. It's down to 4. I got it 4.5. I grabbed it. St. John's wants to run and gun, but they also turn the ball over. And you're going against a Temple team with a superior backcourt that is already beaten Villanova at home. I think it's too many points. I think St. John's has not really been tested against Merrimack, Lafayette, Central Connecticut. They beat Nebraska at home. Congratulations. Now they're going in a neutral court to the Barclays. I get it's still in New York, but this is a Temple team with a solid backcourt that beat Villanova at home, that beat a good Rutgers team as well. The reason is they're not going to turn the ball over a lot against St. John's. I think they'll be able to take care of it. Damian Dunn, Khalif Battle should be able to be fine. Dunn was not great against Rutgers. He had 8 turnovers, but they still were able to get it done. They can make threes. They're going to play defense against St. John's. They're going to limit them, and St. John's is finally outside of the comforts of their own home gym here. So Temple getting those points against St. John's, I think that is fantastic. Folks, ton of great games today across the board. Recapping our picks, Temple plus now 4.5 against St. John's. Ohio State getting, I think it's 4.5 against San Diego State in Hawaii at Maui Gym. I think it's a coin flip game. Mercer getting 7.5 at Florida State. They have done nothing to show that they can cover this game by 8 points or more. Marquette getting 3 against a Mississippi State team. Christian's done a great job, but I think Marquette is ready to give them a little bit of regression. High Point -4 with Gigi Smith-Tubby's son against Central Michigan. St. Joe's against Georgia. We continue with the fade Mike White train, which has gotten us 4 wins. We're up to a 4-0 start against Georgia. St. Joe's, and that line is going down, which leads me to believe that Kario Okindo will not play tonight. We have Duquesne -9.5 versus South Florida. That line was over 10. It's now down to 9.5. I believe in Danbro. I believe in their defense. I believe in their ability here at home. And North Florida, I don't think, has anywhere near the offense to keep this game close. One of my favorite picks of the day, Tulane -3.5 against Nevada. That is in the Cayman Islands. Tulane -3.5. The return of Jalen Cook last game, very underrated, gives them a trio of scores that no one can match there. Stonehill plus 5.5 against my eternal flame, University of Illinois Chicago in the Bronx. Stonehill going to run. Illinois Chicago wants to run. I think Stonehill has more offense, so I will take the points there in a game they can absolutely win. Arkansas -15 against Louisville. We'll continue to fade Louisville. Could we get a backdoor cover here? Yes, but I'm not thinking that's going to happen. I think Arkansas wins by at least 10, so I'll bump it up a little bit and lay the points, and the team I think is going to win. And the first game here kicks it off at 2:30. Creighton -2.5 versus Texas Tech at Maui Gym as well. The Creighton Blue Jays, Texas Tech without IMAC inside. I think Ryan Kalkbrenner is going to have a day, and they're going to score. There are your picks, folks. Like I said, happy Thanksgiving. Please enjoy Feast Week. A lot of great college basketball. We will see you on Saturday morning back again. Thank you.